Not all good men are pursued. It's the man who doesn't need women and still draws them in. Sounds harsh, right? But it's the truth no one says out loud. Women aren't attracted to the one who always texts first, not the guy who's always available, not the one trying hard to please. They're pulled toward the man who doesn't seek validation, who isn't in a rush, who doesn't panic over a message left unseen. A man calm enough to feel no need to prove anything. And when you become that man, you stop chasing, you start choosing. They chase. This isn't a game, it's discipline. And discipline is something women find impossible to resist. If this sounds hard to believe, don't click away just yet, because you're about to hear 7 psychological principles that make women pursue you, as if it were instinct. Once you understand these, the game will never look the same again. Let's go. 1. Stop chasing. Start creating scarcity. Let's face this truth head on. The one who's always available, always saying yes, always bending to her world, never gets truly valued. And you know what hurts the most? It's not when she leaves. It's when you realize, I gave everything and got nothing in return. Why? Because you were playing by the wrong rules, doing the right thing for the wrong person at the wrong time. Here's the raw truth. People only crave what they might lose, not what's always there. The more you text first, the more you check in, the more you make yourself available, the less you are valued, not because you're not enough, but because you didn't create scarcity. In psychology, this is called the scarcity effect. Robert Cialdini, the renowned professor from Arizona State, proved it clearly. We assign more value to things that are rare or at risk of disappearing. Influence. The psychology of persuasion. The more available you are, the more easily you're obtained. The easier you are to obtain, the less you're appreciated. It stings, but it's true. So what should you do? Start by pulling back your presence, not in a fake I'm busy kind of way, but because your life is full enough that you're not always reachable. When you step back, you trigger a primitive mechanism in the female brain. Am I about to lose him? That thought sparks curiosity, then uncertainty, then emotional investment. And once emotion shows up, everything changes. You don't need to act arrogant. You just need to guard your energy. Not everyone deserves access to it, especially if you're not even sure she sees your worth yet. Pause and ask yourself, if you're something she sees every day, a text every night, replies within 3 seconds, why should she chase? She has no reason to keep you, because you never stepped away. And someone who never leaves doesn't create gravity. The Stoic lesson here is crystal clear. Your value lives in your ability to live untouched by the emotions of others. When you can withdraw without fear, you take back your power. And once you've pulled your energy away from neediness, the next question is this: how do you let your energy pull her in without doing anything at all? We're about to talk about that right now. 2. Stop chasing. Let your energy chase for you. You think you need to say something clever to get a woman's attention? You think you need to flirt the right way, text fast enough, be funny enough? You're wrong at the root. Women aren't drawn to words, they're drawn to the energy you carry, even when you say nothing at all. Read that again. You don't need to chase her, you need to make her feel you, without even knowing why. True presence comes from inner strength, not outer movement. And the most magnetic man is the one who remains calm, even when everything around him is in motion. Now think back. When was the last time you stayed completely silent with a woman? No chasing, no explaining, no reaching, just being there and letting her feel you. According to research published by Harvard Business Review, powerful people speak less, move slower, and command attention without trying. HBR 2016. That's not a tactic. That's a state of being. And that state is built through inner discipline. Let me be blunt. The more you try to get her attention, the less she cares, the less you need her attention, the more she wants to understand you. Let your energy do the chasing, your stillness, your certainty, your absence of need. She'll start to wonder, what is he thinking? Why do I feel like I need to reach out first? Why do I feel something's missing when he goes quiet? And that's when she starts chasing. Not because you forced it, not because you played mind games, but simply because you existed the right way. You're not pretending. You're a man with purpose, with weight, with things to do. And she can feel that in your voice, your gaze, your posture. You don't need to be attractive. You just need to stop trying so hard to be seen and start living like you are the center of your own world. Because in the end, women aren't drawn to what they fully understand. They're drawn to what they can't completely control. And that leads us to what's next. Mystery, ambiguity, near but unreachable. The weapon women hate to surrender to, but secretly can't resist. 3. Create the feeling of being unreachable. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed the women who drove you crazy were the ones you never fully figured out? You almost had them, but not quite, and that almost kept you thinking about them for weeks. Women feel the same way. They're not obsessed with what's easy to understand. They're drawn to what makes them wonder, what makes them ask questions with no clear answers. The more predictable you are, the more polite, perfectly timed, and easy to read, the quicker she sees all of you. And if someone can figure you out in 3 days, they won't feel the need to stay for day 4. That's when you need to pull back, not with coldness, but with intentional mystery. Don't overshare. Don't reveal every thought. Don't define her place in your life too soon. Let her wonder, what's he really thinking? Am I the only one? He's close, but there's something he's still holding back. Now, there's something you might be doing every day that's quietly killing her interest, and I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. But first, that feeling of close but not quite is addictive. In psychology, it's called the Zeigarnik effect. We remember things that feel unfinished. Bluma Zeigarnik, Berlin School of Psychology. You compliment her, then go silent. You lock eyes, then look away. You get close, then keep a little distance. You don't need to be confusing. You just need to avoid being fully revealed. Too soon. The less certainty she has, the more emotion she invests. The more unanswered she feels, the more she returns. Not because you forced it, but because her instincts crave resolution. And here's what you need to remember. A man who's easy to figure out is a man who's easy to forget. If she can read you in 3 days, you're already gone by day 4. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you made a woman question who you are without giving her the answer? No hints, no leading, no over-explaining. If you've never done that, then maybe you've never truly been magnetic. So how do you stay mysterious without pretending? There's only one way. Live for something bigger than romance. And that is exactly what we'll get into next. Because if you're not chasing something greater than emotions, you'll always be the one running from behind. 4. Men with a mission are the ones women chase. She doesn't chase you because you're too nice. She doesn't leave because you're not good enough. She walks away because there's nothing to chase other than you chasing her. The more you make her your center, the faster she drifts to the edge. Because the only center a woman wants to orbit is a man with direction. Picture 2 men, one of them constantly checks his phone, pushes his gym session to take a video call, plans his future around her mood that day. The other wakes up at 5 a.m., writes, builds, lifts, reads, not to prove he's busy, but because he's living what he's committed to. Who do you think she'll be drawn to? Mission creates gravity, and women are drawn to what has weight, not what floats around their emotions. I once knew a guy. He fell in love and paused his startup plans, put everything on hold just to spend more time with her. At first she was happy, but a few months in, she lost interest, not because he changed his personality, but because he emptied himself, just to fill her space. And women can't chase something that's no longer moving. A man without a mission turns every relationship into his purpose. And that's exactly why he gets left behind. If you're living for something bigger than emotions, you don't have time to explain why you left her on red. You don't need to text daily, and she'll feel it. Not because you're cold, but because your energy says you're on a path, like a train that's already moving. You don't stop to ask anyone to board. You keep going. Whoever wants to ride will have to catch up. If you've ever adjusted your plans because of a message, skipped your priorities to keep her happy, or lost momentum chasing her moods, keep watching, because what's next will reshape your entire view of masculine attraction. Without women in your life, who are you? What are you building? What are you fighting for? Or are you just waiting for someone to fill your emptiness? A mission doesn't just make women chase you, it makes life respect you. Money, health, direction, they orbit you. When you stop orbiting others, and to stay aligned with that mission, you need one more thing: emotional control. Because if you don't lead your emotions, they will lead your decisions. Up next, control your emotions, and you reclaim your power. This is no longer about dating. This is about the foundation of masculine power. 5. Mastering your emotions. Reclaiming power. You could be 6'1", hit the gym 6 days a week, make 6 figures a year, but if you can't control your emotions, you still lose. Because it's not her testing you, it's life. She leaves your message on seen. You panic. She says, "I've been busy," and you spiral. She types, and you react. In that moment, you've already handed over your power, not because you're weak, but because you don't have control over yourself. Emotions are the one test a man can't cheat. You either master them or be mastered by them. There's no in between. I once knew a man who had it all: smart, attractive, driven. But when his girlfriend didn't reply, he dropped everything, curled up with his phone, typed 8 messages, deleted all of them, then waited, and she vanished. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because he wasn't grounded. And women sense that fast. There's one mistake men make every day, and that one mistake silently kills attraction. They react too quickly because they can't sit with their own emotions. Let's fix that. Picture this. A man sees the notification. He looks at it. He doesn't touch it. He doesn't open it. He doesn't reply. He sits in silence and turns back to his laptop. That silence sends her back in. Psychologists call this the emotional stability bias. Women subconsciously view men who regulate their emotions as stable, safe, and long-term worthy. Emotional self-regulation correlates with long-term attraction and respect. Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, 2015. You don't have to hide your emotions, you just have to lead them. I can feel everything, but nothing pulls me off center. When was the last time you held your frame? Instead of reacting, no explaining, no arguing, no 4-paragraph text begging to be understood. Just stillness. Because if you can't handle your own waves, you'll drown the moment she stirs the water. A man who can't control his emotions is like a sports car with no brakes. Flashy, fast, but no one feels safe getting in. And once you've trained yourself to lead your emotions, you're ready for the final strike, not by winning an argument, not by faking coldness, but by walking away at the right time. Up next, the art of leaving. Because sometimes what makes you unforgettable is having the strength to leave when you're no longer being valued. 6. The power of walking away. The final strike. Not everyone who walks away is heartless. The one who dares to leave is the only one with the power to stay. You want to know when a man truly haunts a woman's mind? Not when he buys her gifts, not when he sends long, emotional texts, but when he goes silent, stands up, and walks away. No anger, no drama, no sarcastic jabs, just this simple truth. I don't stay where I'm no longer valued. That's not a tactic. That's self-respect. And self-respect can't be faked. When you can walk away, you don't need to win the argument, because you've already won, by refusing to shrink just to be accepted. A man once told me this story. He stood up quietly. folded his jacket, looked at the woman who used to be his whole world, and said, "I don't hate you. I just can't stay where my worth is ignored." And he walked away, no looking back. 3 days later, she texted him. 5 days later, she came to find him, not because he played games, but because she realized he didn't need her to exist. The scarcity principle proves it. We only start to value what we might lose. Journal of Behavioral Decision-Making, 2011. If you've ever thought, staying is kind, staying proves love, then hear this. Staying too long where you're being overlooked isn't love, it's self-destruction. He left the cafe table. No harsh words, no dramatic exit, just picked up his coat and walked away, like she was only a small stop on a far greater journey. And that silence spoke louder than anything he could have said. Have you ever stayed just because you were afraid to leave? Have you done everything you could to hold on to someone who stopped trying to hold on to you? Walking away doesn't mean you loved less. It means you remembered who you are. Because sometimes the one thing that makes you truly valuable is knowing you don't have to stay to prove it. And if you walk away calmly, without bitterness, without revenge, that exact moment becomes the final strike. She won't forget that energy. Not because you were the one who left, but because you were the one who had the courage to. And if you want her to think about you long after you're gone, even in silence, then there's one more thing to master. Leave her wondering, because when you become a question she can't quite answer, you stay in her mind, even without saying a word. 7. Always leave her. Wondering attraction doesn't lie in what you say. It doesn't live in any one action. It lives in the space you leave behind when you're gone. A woman may not fall for you at first, but if after every encounter she finds herself wondering, what is he thinking? Do I really matter to him? Who is he truly? Then you've planted a seed, and she'll water it with her own imagination. You don't need to convince anyone to think about you. You just need to make it hard for them to stop. The more certainty she feels, the easier you are to forget. The less she can read you, the deeper you stay in her mind. A man takes a woman out to dinner. He speaks just enough. No bragging, no oversharing. At the end of the meal, he says, "I'll text you later, or maybe I won't." He smiles and walks away. 4 hours later, she checks her phone. Nothing. 8 hours. Still nothing. And from that moment, she starts thinking about him every single day. Most men burn through all their mystery in the first week, not because they said something wrong, but because they said too much, too soon. You don't have to go completely silent. You just need to keep 20% of yourself in the dark and let her step into that darkness only if she wants to explore further. When people receive incomplete information, the brain naturally fills in the blanks. George Lowenstein, Information Gap Theory, Carnegie Mellon University, which means the less she fully understands you, the harder it becomes to let you go. Picture this. You're sitting at a cafe, reading a book. She sees you. You look up, give a small, calm smile, then go back to reading. No pressure, no chase, no rush. And she'll remember that moment, far longer than any clever text. Are you making her wonder? Or are you explaining everything too soon? Too easily? When people don't know what you're thinking, they think about you more. And sometimes, well-timed silence is the loudest invitation. You're not pretending to be distant. You simply don't need to be fully understood. Too early, because the man she can't quite figure out is the man who stays in her mind long after he's gone. You've walked with me through all 7 principles, and if you're still here, then maybe something in you has just been awakened, or perhaps something that was buried long ago is starting to rise again. You once believed women need constant attention, that you have to chase, try harder, text on time, that you have to do whatever it takes to make them stay. But here's the truth. You don't keep anyone by losing yourself. You want women to pursue you? Stop trying to be attractive. Start becoming a man of depth, a man of direction, A man who doesn't need to prove anything. She's not drawn to your words. She's drawn to your silence. When it holds strength. She's not pulled in by your constant presence. She's pulled by your selective absence. She doesn't stay because you beg. She stays because you're strong enough to walk away when it's time. Who are you when you don't text? Who are you when you don't chase? Who are you standing alone in silence without needing validation? That answer will define your power. Women don't chase men who chase well. They chase the man they cannot control. And that man is the one who controls himself. You don't need a strategy. You need a state where you don't need to force. You don't need to hide. You don't need to pretend. You just show up fully as you are. Stoic thinking isn't just for relationships. It's a way of living. Choosing silence when words lose meaning. Choosing to walk away when self-respect is forgotten. Choosing stillness, even when everything around you is spinning. And when you live like that, women don't leave. They stay because they feel you don't need them, but no one else can replace you. So tomorrow, will you keep trying to be attractive, or will you begin to become irreplaceable? If this message hits something deep in you, share it. Send it to a brother who's been stuck in softness. Maybe he needs it, just like you once did. And if you want more raw, real, mind-opening content for modern men, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, because what's coming next goes far beyond just getting women to chase you. This isn't a game, it's a path. And the goal is simple, to become a man who chases nothing but the path he was born to walk. Are you ready? I'll see you in the next video.